Good morning, traders and investors. Dale Sargo, Trader Boys. We are here. We're at a critical point in the markets. Let's take a look. S&P's down 19.5. Nasdaq's down 40, 48, 3/4. We got the Dow down 215 already this morning, and the Russell 2000 down 1.17%, leading the way on the downside. This is going to be a position here that we can use as a hedge for long-term portfolios. And we can do that in various ways because this sucker moves. We got the bonds down just slightly, and we got oil up slightly just on news. Gold is down slightly, so we're seeing a sea of red here. A sea of red, which is very interesting. Now, when we start to see markets like this, this is when you could be at major turning points, and this is the area that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks of the way the formation could happen in the markets to break to the downside. You can see all the big names here are down. Delta Airlines news this morning, they'll be releasing 25,000 flights for next month. So that's going to bring some buying power into here, as well as United Airlines. So you can see these guys here are up on that news. Let's go over to the charts. This is a big one. This is an important one. Let's check this out. So we're on the S&P here. So here's what I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. We had the uptrend, break down below the lower trend line, come back up, and now we're in this sideways range. So the question is which way will we break out of the sideways range? Now, with the formation we've been looking at is to come up into here to get that breakdown. And when we looked at the charts yesterday, in yesterday's video here, we spoke of coming up into this supply area. And that's exactly where the market closed yesterday. We rocked this yesterday right before the close, and selling pressure. There's massive unfilled institutional sell orders at this price level. This could be it. Now, we're hitting this demand level, so now we got the battle of the sellers to the buyers here. What's going to happen next? If we break this low, that means on the 60-minute chart, the 1-hour chart here, we are entering into a downtrend because we'll have a lower pivot high, and then we'll have the lower low. Now, if we get that lower low, you must be out of your long positions. You must be short this market, and you could be looking for a long-term short position. You got to remember where we are. We're coming into earnings season real soon, and these earnings are going to be devastating. It's going to be very difficult for this market to stay up, except for Federal Reserve behind the markets. So we're sitting this is a critical point in the markets right here of determining what's going to happen next. So you can see the demand level, right? We've pushed off that, so there's no action to take here at this point. Right? If we break above this, we're going to stay. You get permission to stay long the market. We break below this, you got to be out of those long positions. You got to be looking short the market. So bond positions, the gold position is going to be very important. But you're going to have massive downside potential there. So your big names, big name players, even the big name Nasdaq players that are not going to benefit from coronavirus, are massive short positions. This is where the retail and trade is just going to get absolutely slaughtered and hosed. So that's the S&P. Here's the Russell 2000. It's doing the same thing. It's doing everything we said it was going to do yesterday. We timed these markets absolutely perfectly in advance, knowing where the turning points are going to be. And check this out. There's the supply level we put out there yesterday. We said the upper, this trend line here is a concern. So we've got the stacking of odds and probabilities, the supply level trend line here. Markets come up, just tagged this here yesterday, lower pivot high, already got the lower low in. We're game on the 1-hour chart in a downtrend on the Russell 2000 already. Now, the Russell 2000 is the leading index of the markets. Most people don't know that. Most people don't understand how money flow works. So we're now looking on the Russell. Yes, there's demand right here, and this is what we're hitting. We're hitting it on all three major indices, right? And we're there. We break through this demand level, it's game on for sellers, right? And it's game on big time for sellers. So we got to look for this. We look for the opportunity. There's no action to take yet, but it's setting itself up for a big downturn. Now, we break through this. What do? We do what the market tells us to do, right? Which means we're going to get long this market, and it can push, and it can make a big push to the upside. So this is a very critical point in the markets. Very important day in the markets of what's going to happen. Same thing. Here's you get the Nasdaq here. I was looking for this level up here on the Nasdaq. Right? You've got this level here. Right? So we've got a level on top of this level, supply level on top of this level. There's massive institution selling sitting in between this blue line down to this blue line here. There's a huge amount of resistance. There's huge downward pressure in this region right here. So you can see we, boom, closed the market yesterday, up we go, coming into the supply area, right? It just can't go higher. It's pushing sideways, pushing sideways, pushing sideways. Yes, there's demand here. We got to get through this. If we can't break this demand, the buyers are still in control of this market. We're not looking for downside potential. We break this demand level, we're in a downtrend then on the 60-minute time frame. This is just a retracement to get the large leg down. Right? It's going to be a phenomenal shorting opportunity if we break this demand level. Obviously, you still get demand down here, and you get these demand levels down here. We know where they are. We know where they are in advance when you're watching the Trader Boys. Right? So huge potential in the markets here. Massive decision-making process of institutions and where these markets are going to go. And this is looking long-term as well. So the critical time. I can't stress how critical we are right now. Here you go. This is oil. Right? Oil, beautiful move up. Right? Now you can see just oil just broke through this demand level. Right? And on heavy selling. So there's a lot of buyers right through this region here. A lot of buyers for this region here, so this could be a nice retracement before we get a nice move back up. Now, if we can't get above this high and we can't continue that uptrend, right? Oil's on the breakdown. Right? Now, oil longer term. I mean, if we can get oil to go lower, it's a buy. It's a long-term buy. That's something you got to put in your portfolio. There's many different ways to invest in oil, but this is still a great opportunity here. And we're coming down into the buy area here. But obviously, if the economy falters, then the demand on oil is going to decrease, which means the price of oil has to go down. Right? So oil, just a big hit on the selling side here. We are into demand right here, and this is a proven demand level, and that's coming from back over here. There's lots and lots of buying power here, and you can see that we just touched it, and we got a little bit of push off there. So it's going to take a lot to get through the $39 mark here. What do we got? We got gold. You guys know where I stand on gold. Gold's a buying opportunity, right? So buyers stayed in control here, got through the supply level here, took a couple times to get through it. Boom, big move to the upside. Now we have a nice retracement. Gold is a setup. We got to look for where is the entry point on this. Gold is a setup, looking for a buy right now. You've got this. It's a huge zone, but there's level on top of level on top of level right in here. So level here, level here, level here. There is 3 levels of buying power here, unfilled institutional buy orders right here. So, you know, buying opportunity in gold is gigantic right here. And if this is the telling. If you understand money flow, money is flowing into gold. The question is why? Why are institutions moving money into gold right now? They've got to be repositioning portfolios. Right? So these are the insights that we're looking for of what will happen in the stock market next. Money flowing to gold is giving us that indication. Right? So you've got to be constantly understanding, well, what's going on, how's it happen, why does it happen, where is it happening, so we can play the game with the smart money. That's what we need to do. You play the game with the smart money, you're stacking the odds in your favor to make money. And so this is your area. So you can look at this on the gold market here. Reduce your risk exposure. Just understand it may come deeper. But this is the first point here. This is obviously a massive buy. There's going to be a massive stack of unfilled buy orders sitting right in here, and that's your opportunity. There are sellers sitting here. So you got to be patient. So you can have an entry here, a stop loss here, target number 1 here, and then let the rest run. There's a massive upside potential in the gold market. So there's your majors. Let's go into and break this down. We'll come into oil and Exxon and etc. here. So we've already looked at oil. I already looked at the oil markets. Right in here on the oil markets is a great buying opportunity, great setup. We're there right now. Oil is a buy right now. It's a beautiful retracement. Right? And we can come all the way back up in the 40.93 here. So you've got an almost $2 move on the oil markets there to make some great money, great opportunity. Right? So Exxon, a long-term play. Exxon's been battling, trying to get to the upside. Hasn't got the strength to do it just yet. It's got a couple of resistance areas. You get the 50-period moving average. You've got the trend line coming through here. Right? It's got to get through all those to be able to get to the upside. If we break the low right here, that's game over for that position at this point. We'll let it break to the downside, and we'll pick that one back up again. Now, if you're in the longer term play, you can come out to a longer term chart and manage this position. Right? What we want to do ideally is, if it's going to break down, it's going to break down into this region right here. Right? So you can get back in on this on 41 if it was to break to the downside. That is a proven area of unfilled buy orders right here. Right? So that's the opportunity. Take the small loss, pick it back up for the $41 mark there, right? And that's just going to give us more upside potential. So Exxon sitting in this demand level is completely destroyed all any unfilled institutional buy orders here. So it's now got the potential it can break down. It may also find the strength and move to the upside. Right? So it depends on the oil market there, whether the oil market can hold that demand level. This is Chevron, very similar story here. The Chevron is showing a little bit more strength, is above the previous 2 days highs here. It's breaking out of its demand level. If Chevron can get above today's high, it's gonna run. Right, so Chevron's looking a little stronger, a little better than Exxon there. Let's go out to the big name NASDAQ stocks. Now, for a lot of investors here, this is going to be an important section of this video for you guys to listen to. This video is long, but let's get through this. NASDAQ has found some strength. It is coming off its demand level here. You guys can see that right now. NASDAQ is still maintaining the uptrend. So we're coming off this demand level right here. This is showing strength. Okay, and the buyers are still in control. You can see right now that it's just going to put in a new candle high on the 60-minute time frame here. That is showing strength. So this, if the NASDAQ can run, right, it's got a lot of overhead supply it's going to run into here. Right, so remember, you get this level here, you get this level here, and it's got to get through that. Now, if it does, it's running, making new all-time highs. So it's going to be interesting, right, and this is going to be a fascinating day to see what happens here. You get the trend line here that's going to come into play as a probability factor, whether we can go through or not. So let's take a look. We've got Apple. This is Apple in the 60-minute time frame. Apple has an overhead supply right here, the all-time high. You can see we're running into a resistance area here. That's coming up through this little supply zone. So this is what I'm saying. These markets are in price areas that are so critical. If we can get through this, Apple can put a new all-time high in. If it cannot, Apple's going to start the breakdown to bring the markets down. Right now, if you think of Apple and using Apple, they've reduced their component buying by 50%. So what's Apple telling you about the quarters to come in from a fundamental basis? They're not making as much product because they're not expecting to sell as much product. Right, here's Amazon. Amazon's near its highs. It's near its supply levels up in here. Let's break this down to a 1 hour time frame. You have a supply level right here. Right, now, this is not an area that hasn't been touched before, but we are right into that supply area. This is where Amazon is hitting that supply, and it can move to the downside off this. Right, so it's already done that once. Boom, right back up for the retest. Amazon breaks below the low here in that 6-minute time frame. That is a short. Right, that is a short. Or that is a setup to get out of your long transaction. So for those who are in Amazon, they've been taking this train and riding this ride, right, that's your warning sign. Here we go, we got Netflix. Netflix is into daily supply, right, into daily supply. So we've got this area right in here. We'll refine it down to here. This area right here, that's daily supply. Right, so we had a nice retracement, come back up. We could put the lower pivot high in and then start the momentum to the downtrend here. Right, so big impacts today, big impacts. Facebook, right, Facebook has supply right in here. Facebook has supply. That's going to keep it inside this sideways movement here. We hit the supply level, we get a turning point. We break this demand level, it's game on to the downside. We break this supply level, it's game on to the upside. Last one here, Microsoft. Microsoft is a company I would not look to short, but Microsoft has made a phenomenal run off that demand zone once again. That's been paying the bills. Microsoft's going to have a small gap down this morning into the 202.30 here, so nothing really to speak of on the NASDAQ there. Hey, there's your wrap on the markets today. Big day in the markets, very important day in the markets. Stay tuned because I'm going to be on this. I'll be reporting for you, giving you some insights of what to do, where to go. Hope you enjoyed this educational session. Have a great trading day in the markets.